Hamlet, it's very important to remember who he was before the roof fell in on his head. So before his father died and his mother married his uncle and he lost his kingdom, it's very important to remember that then he was brilliant, prodigious, witty, clever, delightful. Ophelia adored him, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern adored him, Horatio adored him. So although he is in a terrible state because the roof has fallen on his head, he was not always like that. He was different when he was younger. So you have to remember the lightness and the brightness and the wit and the joy in him, as well as the other colours. And you have to remember that it's a play about a lot of people. It's not just about Hamlet, it's about how a whole community falls to pieces. So those are the two important things.
For me, I think Hamlet is an incredibly smart, astute young man with a very, very intelligent young man with a very sharp mind who finds himself in a tragic situation. But he's incredibly smart, incredibly witty. He's just as funny as he is sad or lonely. And he's a real sort of, Shakespeare's given him such beautiful language to say. So that's always a real joy and a real privilege to be able to say those words. I always leave the stage thinking how lucky I am to be able to say those words which so many actors dream about saying. And so for me that's incredibly special.
I think it's a wonderfully rich story, and I think it's a story about a guy who is not particularly special, not particularly extraordinary. Yes, he's very bright, he's very quick, but actually he's an everyman. He's you and he's me and he's everyone, and the questions he asks are the questions we all ask at some point. Why am I here? Is it what happens after death? What should I do? And I think that's why I think it's such a great story, is because it's about all of us, and it's just about a normal guy in a tough situation and how he deals with it.
I play Claudius and Polonius and the Ghost and Gravedigger, because we have two Hamlets, we have three Claudiuses, three Poloniuses, three Gertrudes, three Ophelias. We can swap around the parts, and every show is different. We have it's like a carousel casting that and it brings a different energy to each performance. And it also provides sickness cover. If one of us is ill, then the other person can take over. But it's a fascinating way to work. I've never done it before, and as we've gone through, this is country number 132 since last April, and this is. And we're going to go through till next April, and hopefully we go to every country in the world.
Yeah, well, it's very energetic because you have the play within the play, and you have the fencing, and you have a very rapid movement from scene to scene. So it's not a very sedate play or a very static play.
I mean, there's so much in the text. That's the thing. It's such a beautifully written play. It's full of beautiful poetry, but also very human relationships. It's a story which has got everything in it: love, politics, family. You know, the relationship between two lovers, the relationship between a mother and her son, a son and his father. You know, there's so much in it. And that's why I think it's such a special text, because it's so easily relevant and relatable, you know. Everyone can sort of connect to it because it's got things in it which everyone thinks or feels at some point.
It's such a superbly written universal piece that it has so much to give to every member of an audience in terms of intrigue, jealousy, betrayal, love, trust, parental relationships, and I suppose as an elder member of the company, those parental relationships are very interesting to me. But it's different to every country that we've been to. We have a different reaction. And of course we have, when you go to, say, countries like Rwanda and you perform the gravedigger scene, and produce a skull in the country that's had a genocide, it has a different resonance to a country that has never experienced that. And then we were also in Kiev on the night before the elections of President Poroshenko, and he came to see the show on that night, which was fascinating. And then we also get different reactions in different parts of the world. We did a show in Jamaica, and there were Hamlet and Gertrude performing the closet scene, and Hamlet was grabbing hold of Gertrude and throwing her onto a chair, and a member of the audience said, "That's no way to treat your mother," which was great fun. But you know, they were free to express themselves, as audiences did in Shakespeare's day. They were very vocal, I think, in their reactions to the play.
Well, I always think that the character has to start with you, and then the more you learn about the character, the more that informs who you become as the part. And in this we play so many different parts each. Yeah, so in this we play many different parts that I suppose, depending on who we are, we might hold ourselves differently, have a different inner tempo, and I think for Hamlet, I think he's a very generous soul, a gentle soul, but I think as well he's burning up with a passion and an anxiety that's caused by his father's death, his mother's remarriage. So I think he's bursting to get something out.
I'm a bit overambitious. That's all. I love to do big projects and I love to do big, silly, monstrous things. And so it's a reflection of my Napoleon complex.
Had we, as it were, with a defeated joy, with mirth in funeral and with dirge in marriage, in equal scale weighing delight and dole, taken to wife.
They're all very different. They're all very strange. I mean, we played in some kind of huge amphitheaters in Macedonia and Cyprus, and we played in some very small theaters. We played outdoor in Mexico City. It was a huge square. In Tuvalu, a tiny island. It was just next to the runway, airport runway. I mean, every place we've played has been very different.
The idea is just to demonstrate by that two things. One, that Shakespeare is everywhere now, and that Shakespeare's reached everywhere and everyone understands Shakespeare and can enjoy it. And the other thing is that anyone can do this, is that it's possible. Because the world is full of people who say that things are impossible, and you can't do this, and you can't do that, and you can't do the other. And I think it's lovely to just say, no, this is possible. Someone can do this. And I hope that other people will do similar things in the future.